Hey, what's up, Canada and beyond? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grannies and gators. We're going to have a bit of an abbreviated show today because I've been so busy, head down, bum up, that it had slipped my mind that we have to share Bryce this weekend. He was asked to be a keynote speaker at a big event happening on Victoria Island, and I think in Victoria this weekend. So he is otherwise engaged, but we're gonna still take kind of a high speed wander through the financial implications of what's going on in clown world and how it impacts our financial stability as individuals, as nations, all of these things. So, hey, Gemini Moon, thank you for signing in. Chirp in from wherever you're at, tuning in here. I like to see it when we actually beat some of the censorship and we get people in from international communities because we all are dealing with the same enemy or the same oppression at the end of the day, and it is getting thick out there with the censorship. So please uh, don't forget to hit the share button on this, guys. If you're new here, I hope you find some value and give us a subscription. Um, I should make a point of pulling up a couple of the platforms where people should be or can be getting a hold of or watching what or getting plugged in, I should say. I'm distracted trying to talk and work at the same time. But it's becoming more critical than ever, guys. Get plugged in over on Substack. I should refresh this. This is kind of becoming really quickly the go-to platform. Yes. I'm going to go cover. Thank you for asking. Awesome. Thanks. Shared on X. Steve, excellent. Thank you. Appreciated. Do we have other platforms streaming now too? Yes. I'll pull up some of them here, and I'm kind of cycling through the substack.com at whatsupcanada.substack.com. That's where you'll find this one. I'll drop the link in there for mine specifically. But yeah, it's getting really tough to get streams out there. We are streaming on YouTube again. That's hit or miss, so I don't really promote YouTube, but by all means, please get subscribed over on YouTube for when they do allow us to. So that's one place that you can find us where we are streaming live. We are streaming live on X as well. That is at where I have that pulled up here somewhere too. I got a whole bunch of platforms on the go right at the moment here, guys, but I will pop up my X link and drop that into the chat as well. And this chat is pretty much only going out to Rumble and YouTube. The way my dashboard is set up, I can see some comments, but I still have to monitor platforms individually. So I can't really respond on them. So I will go quickly drop my X link into a couple of platforms that we're streaming live. So we are streaming live on, like I said, YouTube, X, Instagram, of all places, believe it or not. Um, they won't let me stream on Facebook, but they'll still let me stream on Instagram. Probably because I can't schedule anything on Instagram, and they can shadow ban, however many people are there. There's typically, I think there's one watching on Instagram. That right now we only get a couple of 3 followers on Instagram. Not really a primary, but we are streaming live there. And then of course Rumble is a staple, a go-to. They've been really good as far for the most part. I have to say they've been really good, although they have in the past pulled down a couple of my videos that I think that they were likely under some pressure to remove, but that's okay. We will revisit those again one day soon as they hit the Overton window. So just going to drop the Rumble channel in across some of these platforms as well, because these are the places. Of course, you'll always, no matter what they do, I stream live every show. You can watch it, whether it's mirrored or live on whatsupcanada.org, as well as lgm.news. So what do I got here? I got Substack pulled up on my platform over here. That's what I'm sharing with you guys. Okay. Um, yeah, this is in or on X. We're streaming live right down here, so giving a share over there helps. I'd have to refresh this to see your share, Steve. So these are the primary platforms, and of course Wimkin. Wimkin is there's not I can't say enough good things about Wimkin. It's not perfect, but it's real. Jason that's built that is one of us, and he's always looking at solutions and does everything that Facebook does. Just it's US based primarily. So awesome stuff, guys. Really appreciate your assistance, because at the end of the day, like I said, we are all in this together. So to kind of cover over, I got some stuff here I'm going to share with you. I've got a newsletter from New World Precious Metals, so we'll still kind of get to hear a representation from our friends, allies over there that are creating solutions, and we're going to talk about some of those here in just a minute. But I got some slides pulled up and created for you guys, and this is why I'm kind of going through where you guys can find this stuff, because as we're getting more censored, I'm kind of building some stability. So it's live on Rumble, live on whatsupcanada.org, live on lgm.news, and every day, the next morning, usually, all of the receipts, all of the links, all of the resources, all of the slideshows, presentations, videos, whatever I've used in the show the night before comes out the next day. And so Substack has been really good about that. I can put everything in one place for everybody, and you can subscribe for free. There's also an option to become a paid subscriber there for like $8 a month. So I'm sure you guys tip your local server more than $8 a month. So that would be a fantastic way to help me keep this free for everybody else. So I wanted to bring this up to start kind of the ball rolling here from a Prague newspaper. I can't confirm this either which way. There's been people that have claimed that this is a false publication, whatever that might be. The sentiment behind it is important and to set the stage for where we're going to kind of go next. So the danger to Canada is not Justin Trudeau, but a citizenry capable of entrusting a man like him with being prime minister. It will be far easier to limit and undo the follies of a Trudeau government than to restore the necessary common sense and good judgment to a depraved electorate willing to have such a man for their prime minister. Now, this guy's assuming that all Canadians are just depraved and like Mr. Trudeau. We are absolutely deprived of truth, honesty, transparency, and accountability. So, but I understand the sentiment as to what the world might observe of Canadians, because only the deprived sycophants could willingly love what Trudeau is doing, right? So I understand the sentiment, and I think it's important for us to address it. So the problem is much deeper and far more serious than Trudeau, who is a mere symptom of what ails Canada. Blaming the Prince of the Fools should not blind anyone to the vast confederacy of fools that made him their prince. I can't really argue with that. He didn't do it alone. He's not nearly smart enough. The country can survive a Trudeau who is, after all, merely a fool. It is less likely to survive a multitude of fools, such as those who made him their prime minister. So it's it's pretty accurate and reflective at the end of the day as to where the reality of where the accountability is, and as much as I understand the sentiment is where he's blaming it on Canadians, he's right, but for the reasons why. I think the world is equally as misled as what Canadians are. So we're going to take a couple of quick looks at some slides here that I've gathered that'll kind of set the tone for understanding the repercussions and the ripple effect of what's going on a far bigger scale. So I'm just going to cover this real quickly. Canada's poverty rates have been on the rise, according to the latest figures from Statistics Canada. As of January 2024, the market based measure, MBM, predicts that Canada's overall poverty rate grew by 21.8% from 2121 to 2022 in a year. 21.8%, the poverty rate, followed by an additional 13.3% increase from 2022 to 2023. So, quick Northern Swamp Donkey math on that tells me 35.1% in 2 years of people entering the poverty level in Canada. These growth rates imply a predicted overall poverty rate of 9% in 2022 and 10.2% in 2023, compared to the official poverty rate of 7.4% in 2021. There is absolutely no reason or justifiable excuse for anybody in Canada to be living below the poverty line. None, zero, zip, nada, except for the bleeding and extortion and extraction of wealth through unethical endeavors, right? So I'll put this is just a screen grab, guys. So forgive me the quality of this, but I'll make sure that this is in the Substack tomorrow as well. It gives you kind of a bit of a graph on and the sources. You guys will be able to get to the sources of this if you want to see it in greater depth, but it's the official numbers aren't even in yet, but it's clear that even the highly optimized model to underreport poverty can't keep up with the lie anymore and the projection that Canada is doing wonderful. So it goes on further to say, and I'll read this out for everybody as well, just because I got a bit of a shorter show tonight, because we have to share Bryce, but that's all right. You guys will survive, I'm sure, right? So the situation is particularly concerning for children, with more than 1 million Canadian children currently living in poverty, despite Canada's progress in reducing child poverty between 2012 and 2021. The number of children living in monetary poverty has sharply risen from 15.2% in 2020 to 17.8% in 2021. Single-parent families, families living in Indigenous communities, and families with racialized or disabled children are at higher risk of poverty, according to a UNICEF report. And we looked yesterday at the scam of the theft and the fraud and the treason of Stefan Jobot and Chrystia Freeland in how they are raping Canada's wealth for a fraud and a scam. And this is the results, guys. It's the most vulnerable that are not able to raise a voice like this in a forum like this for themselves to do anything about it. So this is where I'm continuing to hammer on some of these things, so I'm going to finish this slide here, and I'll pull over a couple of comments because there's some good ones there, guys. And I thank you for engaging. It's engagement that drives these things. So the other highlighted part here is rising inflation and interest rates are driving the cost of living crisis and the increase in poverty rates across all age groups. We all eat groceries the same, right? The discontinuation of the Canada Emergency Response Benefit (CERB) program has further increased hardship among Canadian families by design, is my belief, right? I picked up a quote earlier today, and I'm just going to read it to you guys. I didn't get a chance to put it into the slide, but it was 2012, a 10-pound bag of potatoes was 99 cents. In 2019, a 10-pound bag of potatoes was $1.99. In 2024, this year, a 10-pound bag of potatoes is $5.99. And in Saskatchewan, it's $11 for a 11-pound bag or a 10-pound bag of potatoes. I can confirm the last one because that's where I just left. So this is, the reality is setting in on what the effects of this financial lie and charade that our government is perpetrating, is coming home to roost, and it's going to be the people that are going to suffer the most. We know about. Um, I think the statistics in 2019 already showed Canada having the fastest rate of homelessness in the G20. That has not gotten better. Everything is continuously, expeditiously getting worse the longer these uh, foreign operatives are uh, twisting policy to facilitate the scam. So, lots of comments here. I'm going to go pull a couple of them up. Hey, Brenda, first time you could comment on X. Um, Glad you're here. Thanks for the the persistence. I know they do everything they can to make it difficult and challenging for people to watch, just because then people give up, and there's always another show, another podcast, something else to fill the space. So sooner or later, people get they get tired of trying to fight through. Yeah, Tommy Robinson is doing a tour across Canada. Not unfortunately, I would love to chat with the man in person. I don't think that's going to happen. Um, the house shut down, so he wouldn't have to answer questions. There's been an awful lot of that going on for sure. 1 in 4 families is hurting and using the food bank right now. Yes, absolutely. The deaths of despair have we covered that a few weeks ago, have exploded. Absolutely. The medical assistance in death, the government murder program is exploding as well, and only on pause from expansion because they can't get enough people willing to take part in the actual termination of people that really have no legitimate reason to be self-deleting themselves, but they are, because it's there's no hope, no future. There's no help. There's no reality. There's nothing for them to cling to. And talking with Michelle today, the trauma expert, the first thing they severed was our connection to our own humanity, and that's once they've got us isolated from the protection of our communities and our herds, it allows us to them to lambaste us with hallucinogenic manufactured terrors until we're all in compliance. And yeah, it would be nice to know the real figures. We talked about that last night, doing a if I can make this happen, I'm going to do a freedom of information request on myself to find out exactly what our government is doing against me. I've discovered why Facebook won't allow me to stream anymore. It's because I do not have a government accreditation, so I refuse to do that. So, because nothing ever goes wrong, and the government is involved, right? Absolutely. Ta-da. Yeah, the one thing about that piece there was saying in what they were projecting was that Serb was getting rid of Serb was wrong, and we're seeing them push towards making excuses as why we should want the universal basic income. That's what it is. Universal basic income would fix this. If they hadn't rejected the Serb and everybody was still getting monthly money, we wouldn't have this problem at the food bank. I'm seeing other places reporting, oh yeah, universal basic income that solves is the solution to food uncertainty. So it's kind of crazy that they're trying to normalize this, and the government is the only savior again, and we cannot allow ourselves to fall into that trap. But this is where they're creating this manufactured destabilization that ultimately will have people begging for food and accepting the government operations, right? Truth Warrior, I think that was Monday or Tuesday. I did got myself into trouble with that one. So yeah, yeah, wait till they print the king on the money. I'm not sure how well that's gonna go over, or if they're gonna be able to have it in time. But I think it's already coming. They've shown us some things that they're doing with that. But I'm more interested in the currency we'll be using a few years from now, and I don't think it's going to have the king. Yeah, the king is on the silver, 2024 silver. Yeah, that's what it was. I'd seen that already. Awesome. Awesome stuff, guys. So I'm going to dive into a few more things here. Y'all keep chirping in and chiming in on what's going on around your little periphery of view as far as watching this manufactured collapse of our countries. We're going to show you a few more things on that before we get into some of the gooder stuff, right? So this is kind of what this is part of a month newsletter I get from our friends and associates, Bryce at New World Precious Metals. Just some things for us to think about. Fuddruckers is closing all of their locations. Old Country Buffet, all of their remaining locations. IHOP is closing 100. Buffalo Wild Wings, all of their Canadian locations, 60 in the U.S. Applebee's 35. Red Lobster another 50. Denny's closing 20 more. Pizza Hut is closing 500 restaurants across the U.S. Outback Steakhouse closing 41 of 700. Quiznos is closing 140 across Canada and the U.S. Marie Callender's is closing all of its locations by the end of 2024. Espero is closing 50 locations. Marty Pizza 27. PDQ 8 of 59. Joe's Crab Shack 41 of 60. Carino's 30. Romano's Macaroni Grill 31. TGI Fridays 233, Corner Bakery Cafe 104. As you can see, this is just what's on in the state of collapse right now. Over this summer, this is the projection over the summer and the notifications that they've actually gathered already. So. They aren't the only ones, and this is again the results of what these guys are manifesting. It's the destruction of all the, first they destroyed the moms and pops. Now they're going for the mid-size, the North American owned, anything that is not owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, or the usual suspects, is under the gun. They have a target on their backs. It's only a matter of time before they are on the chopping block. So that's the direction of this great reset, is to destabilize and destroy, and then you know offer us the golden carrot, the universal basic income and the CBDCs. But it's not just those places. Overall, people are struggling to make ends meet, no longer dining out like they did a few years ago. Minimum wage is no longer a feasible income. We're talking about the food banks. People at the food banks are working. They're trying, but the rate of inflation and the cost of goods and the cost of housing makes it impossible. It's their only hope to survive, and to the point where the food banks are in crisis. So this is the knock-on effect that we're seeing at the end of it. And you know, if you guys remember back to, it was the night of Brexit, when we explained all of this to everybody, the manufactured destabilization of the economy, it's fascism, or pardon me, communism 101. Next comes the removal of the food supply. Stalin did it, Karl Marx did it, Pol Pot did it, Mao did it. Now they're doing it to us. They are coming after our food. This is why every week Bryce harps on getting your food stock in order. And with the rate of inflation, it's bad now. People are depending on the food banks. How many people are going to be in the food banks when 3 months from now? And even me seeing the difference. The bread that I used to buy in Saskatoon was $8 a loaf. Here it's $4 a loaf, but 3 months from now it's going to be $25 a loaf. Who's going to be buying anything then? And that's when it's going to hit here. The Family Dollar, 600 stores closing. Party City, 40 stores, barely avoiding bankruptcy. H&M closing 240 locations. Foot Locker, 400. Bed Bath and Beyond, all 360 remaining locations. Best Buy, 15. Carter's Clothing, CVS Pharmacy, 10% of locations. Rite Aid Pharmacy, 13% of its stores, 231 locations. Bridal shops, a third of their stores, filing for bankruptcy. 99 store, all of its 371 locations. Express, 100 stores. Walgreens closing 150 locations. Tuesday Morning, all of its locations and claim bankruptcy. Guys, it's gonna get ugly faster and faster and faster and faster. And that death spiral, unfortunately for the economy, can't really be avoided at this point. And this is kind of where it comes into the other side of this. Everything is, like I said, knock-on effect. 100% support your local farmers. Don't just support them. They will be supporting you. Develop relationships, help them out. Don't just buy their stuff, but help them out. Get relationships created. This is just absolutely, uh, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Yeah, this is just coming up in the States. Biden has a plan to tag every cow so that he can monitor it for potentially having the new avian bird flu. That's the next wave of fear, terror, that they're going for. Is that, it's incessant. It's wash, rinse, repeat. Continue shelling and bombarding and separating us, and until we are isolated, demoralized, and cowering in our caves. That's where they want us, because we can't. We're incapable of self defense at that time. So, um, okay, where do I go to next? So, in following up. Oh no, hang on here. Okay. I have different windows because they're different browsers. So it's going to take me just a second here, guys. And I'll have this one pulled up. To follow up some of those lists, what is the end goal of this? Is that all of the BlackRock corporations will control all of the supply chain and access to information, or access to goods and services and products, so that it will be easier for the government to implement a digital ID, and the base it off of the universal basic income, so it'll all be attached together, so that, because that's the only way it'll be feasible for the government to do it and save us. So that's where to go on that. So ask where to go in the farmers to get the food. Absolutely. Um, I was just going to say something. Oh, it'll come to me, or it won't be that important. Oh, yes. Localism is 100% safe and effective cure for globalism. And we have got to become extreme advocates of localism. 100% Truth Warrior, they are terrorizing the farmers, under siege pretty much everywhere. Has been incrementally, quietly going on for a number of years, but they are really stepping it up hard on the farmers right now. All about the CBDCs, absolutely. Um, yeah. Mandatory tracing of the movement of cattle. Yeah, that's been around for a while. Another one of those manufacturers disasters. But the digital age is a major factor of the above stats due to the popularity of online shopping and food delivery. However, it still means thousands of lost jobs in the age are in the face of current political rhetoric that continues to say the economy is doing fine. They're lying. And the crushing of so many of these corporations because they won't come into compliance where the ESG, DEI, you are a plague. You're seen as having the plague in the business world. You have the vid if you're not complying. So, according to a new report released at the end of May, a study published from Canadian financial firm Omnigence Asset Management warns that Canada is headed for a protracted bout of stagflation, in which the country could continue to suffer low growth and high inflation for another 2 decades. Remember when I'm talking about $25 for a loaf of bread? That will be a steal because 10 years from now, that's what they're basically saying is that same loaf of bread is going to cost you 2 million Canadian dollars. $2 million for a loaf of bread, right? So I've got this article as well. It's from the Financial Post. So this isn't just conspiracy kooks talking about this. This is one of the most recognized mainstream media mercenary platforms projecting and predicting what is going on, what is coming and why. So I'll make sure that that is in the Substack as well. I'm really liking this, guys, that I'm able to deliver you guys whatever points there is in the Substack the next day that interests you, that you can dive into and dig into better. You can bring it back. Let us know in the chats what you discover. Unfortunately, most of it's probably not good, but at any rate, this is how we get things moved into the Overwritten window and force them into the realm of discussion. Um, so yeah, according to no, I think I already covered that one. So this is why one must own gold, silver, and tangible assets now. Moving profits to safety, internalize your exposure, and protect your retirement accounts. The Omnigence report also states that Canada is losing more capital on a yearly basis than it gains, with increasingly larger investors leaving the country. As for the housing market, we currently have 3 million homes shortfall across the country with no resolution in sight, and another million three coming in a year. That's going to the only booming housing market is going to be the tent and awning corporations. So they're again ignoring reality. So, which makes our economy heavily reliant on real estate for GDP growth. And we covered that a few weeks ago, these scams behind real estate. We're going to have more coming on that again really soon. But simply put, Canadians pay far too much on housing with excessive amounts of leverage required. Our current net zero targets require a lot of capital, which is leaving. Nobody's investing in Canada. Nobody wants to. Do you blame them? We don't want to invest in the current Canada, which will continue to increase the cost of energy and retire legacy operations that are essential to our economy and Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar ranks as the sixth most important reserve currency in the world. It is the seventh most traded currency overall and is significantly tied to the price of oil, natural gas, and commodity exports. As our current government's ideological goals come head to head with our country's economic reality, the Omnigence report states that for the next 2 decades, Canada's traditional investment portfolios are at risk and suggest investors consider a change. And this is why I wanted to read this to you guys tonight, because I'm seeing in some of the stuff that I do watch predictions within the next couple of months of silver going up to 50, perhaps even $100 an ounce. So now is the time to, if you have an opportunity or we're considering it, now is the time, 100% the time to get on board with that. And this leads me to the last set of things that I wanted to cover. Why? Why is all of this happening? And we talk for years now. We've talked about parallel economies, about Buckminster Fuller, We talked about it again on Wednesday. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete, right? That's what we've all been endeavoring to do, to get away from this one world government, international rules based order that is crushing us under their financial and infiltrated systems in our nations, leaving us broke, devastated, starving, and homeless, dependent on the government for remedy. So it's an incessant system that we cannot depend on, and we cannot allow ourselves to fall into the trap of what is coming, and pretend like we just didn't know. So this is what we've been working in communities across the country, building alternative parallel commerce, trade, all of these things, barter systems, all of this stuff that we're doing to replace the corrupt system, talking about pulling in Iceland, all of these things are literally doing, living. Buckminster Fuller said here, by not, we don't change them by fighting the existing reality. We just build something that makes it obsolete. Well, guys, this is the point. The New World Order, WEF, Fourth Reich, is obsolete. The global compact is dead. It is a proverbial chicken running around with its head cut off. It is dead. And every other nation that is not subservient, that is not dependent, is getting involved in BRICS. This is what Russia is doing. They're building a new system. This is what China, India, Brazil, and now like 100 other nations are building, a system that is not dependent on these batshit cray cray, psychopathic, genocidal maniacs that own all of the meat muppets in every level of our government. So if the psychopaths insist on dragging us into World War III and destroying our system so that they can implement their radical slavery transhumanism project, the rest of the world is saying, nope, nope, just not doing it. They're just not taking part. They're not going to play with it anymore. So this is where they're dumping the American dollar, the reserve currencies, and developing the BRICS nations alliance, and getting stronger and stronger. And that BRICS nations alliance it has moved on from just trade agreements to treaties, and now defense agreements. And this past a couple, what was it, 2 weeks ago in St. Petersburg, one of the biggest international monetary and futures conferences in the world, that none of our batshit cray cray lunatics were invited to. As a matter of fact, it's kind of ironic that we were watching Chrystia Freeland last night from a clip in 2014 that I'm sure she would love to have put down the memory hole, where she had just got back from St. Petersburg, that very same conference where she was pretending like they were crazy. Yeah, well, guys, it's not so crazy. And BRICS is doing exactly what they said they were going to do. They're developing the AI, and I want to pull this comment up here. Um, there, bike paths. Be that as it may, I'm not here to debate that. At the end of the day, I'm just telling people what's coming, and that is where the currency is gonna go. They just don't want to play with our lunatics anymore, and they're building their own new system. And if we want to continue to wage war on them, it's not going to end well for us at this point, because really, the writing's kind of on the wall when these guys have so heavily invested in the Ukraine conflict, and it is coming apart, and the rest of the world is done with what they see coming. They're not willing to commit their boys and girls to be sacrificed at the altar of Project Ukraine to support this international rules-based order. And that's kind of why we are seeing this massive shift to the right. Now, I'm not saying that there is one lunatic that is better than the other. As far as I'm concerned at this point, pretty much every single world leader is batshit crazy, and they all kill people. Every last one of them kills people. It's just in this day and age, I guess the measuring stick is who kills the least people and why. Because there's really not a lot to left to decipher from that. But as we move further and further away from this international rules based one world order, the the pain of the evolution and of the where the final boundaries are drawn, I think we have the opportunity in the multipolar world to maybe rewrite history moving forward into a time of enlightenment. um it's, I'm not against moving back to precious metals based currency internationally. Not saying they have the right answer or solution either, but at the end of the day, 10 years from now, they're going to be doing business, profiting. They're going to be living the lives that we used to have. And as we identified with Jake on Wednesday, know what's coming and prepare accordingly. That's, I guess, in the essence of what we're trying to deliver this week. So that's about all I've got for tonight's show, guys. Just kind of skipping through the swamp. I know it stinks very much badly there, but you can't protect yourself from what you don't see coming. And I was talking about this also with Michelle today. It's like this censorship deal on with me being banned on Facebook. I've been telling people for 2 years it's coming. Everybody chimed in and knows about Bill C-11, and yet there are still 30,000 plus people on Facebook that don't have a clue why What's Up Canada isn't there anymore. I can put posts up, word posts up. I can share images and kind of let people know, but it's still only 0.3% of the people get to see that. So it's, 30 or 40, 50 people a day are seeing. That's what they're allowing me to reach, to tell them that, the time is here. Everything I said for the last 2 years when it came down to what was coming for censorship, what they had planned, has arrived. And I can't do anything more about that except to adapt, improvise, and overcome. So at the end of the day, that's I think we're far, far, far further ahead than we were 2 years ago or even a year ago. And I'm encouraged, but that's what I want people to get out of these shows sometimes is, although it may seem negative, I look at it as a victory. Aha, another rat uncovered. I can't see, if I can't do anything about the rats if I can't see them, right? So this is where the rubber meets the road. And I thank you guys all so very, very much for going the extra effort, the extra mile to find this platform, to make sure that you're subscribed, to go through the effort of sharing, to deal with the shenanigans and laugh at them. It's kind of like uh, those that are going to be watching the Edmonton Oilers, Canada Go Oilers tonight. Let them punch me in the beak. I'll just smile, laugh, and continue to say, bring it. That's what we do here every single day, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Central. And the following day on Substack. We will never put our content behind a paywall because every once in a while, some of you guys find some value in what we're doing here and you chip over a couple of bucks on donate at whatsupcanada.org, which I'm incredibly grateful for. I always need it, guys. I hate doing that, but it is what I have to do in order to do what I do for you. And when I get the feedback of what the difference that this platform makes for people, it makes me incredibly humble, and it makes it a whole lot easier to do whatever it takes, good, bad, ugly, or otherwise, to do what needs doing. So nothing till Monday, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Kiss your loved ones. Spend some time with them. Take part in whatever it is that connects you back to your humanity. And we will see you again on Monday. So stay mighty, my fellow hostages and patriots. We will see you on Monday.
In times of global instability, soaring inflation and massive debt, gold and silver have proven to be unshakable pillars of wealth. New World Precious Metals, based in Calgary, Canada, is a leading international brokerage. We offer an easy, secure, and cost-effective platform for investing in gold and silver, including our international wholesale program and registered retirement savings accounts. Protect your money outside traditional banking with our physical precious metals, privately vaulted outside the banking system, at secure, insured exchanges worldwide. Gold and silver have been trusted assets for generations, with current projections indicating high returns. And with unprecedented demand from governments, banks, and investors, there are now shortages. Precious metals thrive during inflation, geopolitical instability, and currency devaluation. Sound familiar? Now is the time to invest in gold and silver, whether in your international investment account or by transferring registered retirement savings accounts. Experience the security of physical precious metals, combining the safety of physical assets with the flexibility of being like your own bank, offering instant liquidity and a financed line of credit. With precious metals on the rise, don't miss this generational opportunity to protect your wealth. At New World Precious Metals, we ensure your wealth meets its potential. Contact us today and our personal brokers will guide you every step of the way.